Monday, October 7th, and that was not a good weekend of 49ers football. Really wasn't a good weekend of football for Berkeley either. Northern California, watching two teams go down by 1 point in games that they had control of, and then massive second half collapses. Cal fans lost by a point to Miami. 49er fans lose by a point to the Arizona Cardinals, and no one's going to lose as long as you go to Ike's and get yourself a sandwich today. We are brought to you by Ike's Sandwiches. It's good to have you. Hit like and subscribe. We got an awful lot to get into here this afternoon, and what can you say? The 49ers used to be a team that dominated football games. When you dominate a football game, you really don't need the best game plan because you're just that dominant. When you dominate a football game, a mistake doesn't put you behind the chains, behind the 8 ball, and an injury here, an injury there doesn't feel like it changes the arc of an entire afternoon. The 49ers are a lot of things this year. A dominant football team is not one of them. They're not terrible. They're not trash. They're not awful, but they're no longer great. They're no longer the cutting edge by which everyone measures themselves against. Not to this point in the year anyways. And now they've reached a point in the year where they got 3 days to find themselves before they go and play Seattle on Thursday night, a game that if they win it, hey, what do you know? People will be saying things like, oh, they're back in first place, which they mathematically would be. If they lose it, they're 0-3 in their own division, and they would fall to 0-4 in the NFC conference, with their only wins being over the hapless New England Patriots and the hardly ready for primetime New York Jets. And then you've got to start asking yourself, well, the Rams have just got one win this year. Who did that come against? The 49ers. Kyle's not getting fired. Nick Sorensen is not getting fired. Brandon Staley is not getting fired. Brian Schneider is not getting fired. Not in the next 3 days. Not before you go up to Seattle. So the team that you saw on Sunday will be the team that you see on Thursday night. I would like to see it be a team that no longer carried DeAndre Campbell on the roster. He sucks. You don't hear me talk about players like that often, do you? Am I here to tell you, like, this guy sucks, he's got to go? I don't play that level of journalism, content creation, whatever the hell it is I'm supposed to be doing here now. I am not the fire everybody, gut everybody. Nuclear option is the only option I'd ever consider. But DeAndre Campbell's got to go. I don't want to see him play another down for the 49ers. I would rather lose the rest of the games with someone other than DeAndre Campbell out there than win maybe half of them with him. I mean, he just sucks. He is slow. He is being picked on like the fat kid at recess by every single team that plays the 49ers when we've got 5 weeks of evidence of that. When you are the weak spot, what's the old saying? If you can't identify the sucker at the poker table in the first half hour, it's you. DeAndre Campbell is the guy that every team in the NFL looks at and says, free lunch. Let's go after him. Speaking of the concept of free lunch, I do want to tell you about my guy Ike. My man Ike has a delicious sandwich waiting for you right now and a Love Rewards program that when you sign up for it, you get a free sandwich. And when you sign up for that rewards program, you will be entered to win a trip to New Orleans to go to a very big football game in the month of February. Now, I don't know if the 49ers are going to be in that very big football game, but you could be there. So go to Ike, sign up for the Love Rewards program, download that new app of his and start eating your way towards free sandwiches. Start winning free prizes like chips or discounts or sodas. I mean, it is fantastic. His new app kicks ass. Download it, join the rewards program, get your free sandwich, and be very, very happy that you did. Now, as you know, this is not available at Redwood City, San Mateo, or the other location where it's not happening. Sorry, I should know it by now. But I love Ike's, and you will too. Start eating lunch there and do it as soon as you possibly can. Thank you so much to our friends at the Dubliner, as always, for sponsoring us here on the Damon Brew Show. Get to the Dubliner to drink your cares away, worries for another day. A good pint of Guinness is waiting for you. Say hello to Kenny. Say hello to John. They're going to take great care of you. Make sure you let them know that the Damon Brew Show sent you to the Dubliner and West Portal here in San Francisco. And make sure, boys and girls, that you are liked up and subscribed up, because we're going to be going live at the 2-minute warning on Thursday, win, lose, or tie against the Seattle Seahawks, and it better not be a loss and it better not be a tie. It's time for the 49ers to win a game, because after that, the Kansas City Chiefs are coming to Levi Stadium and they will beat you. I am out of the predicting the 49ers to beat the Kansas City Chiefs business as long as the Niners are playing like this. And the next time Kyle beats Andy Reid will be the first. And it doesn't feel like that's about to happen. After that, it's the Dallas Cowboys. Dallas Cowboys, we all got cowboy jokes, blah, 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 blah. They just rolled into Pittsburgh and won on Sunday Night Football. So if you can roll into there and win, you can roll in here and win, especially if the 49ers are scratching and clawing their way out of a 3-game losing streak, which if they lose to Seattle and they lose to the Kansas City Chiefs, they will be riding a 3-game losing streak, looking at the Dallas Cowboys before a bye week. Now, bye weeks, things can change. You want to talk about firing Nick Sorensen, promoting Brandon Staley, shooting Brandon Staley into the sun, taking everyone on special teams and shipping them to a destination unknown? We'll talk about all of that during the bye week. But right now, there will be no change. There's no time to change anything. You're playing on Thursday night. So the 49ers have used the easy portion of their schedule to paint themselves into a corner that they now have to get out of. There is no more margin for error. Here comes the gauntlet. It is about to turn. It's about to turn. It really is. At Seattle, Kansas City, Dallas, bye week. At Tampa Bay, Seattle. At Green Bay. At Buffalo, Chicago. What there sounds easy to you? What there sounds easy to you? Maybe the Chicago game? Maybe. The 49ers needed to give themselves a nice entry point into the year. Didn't do it. Mike Silver is still talking about something's off. The vibes are wrong. The vibes are bad. Kyle just seems like he's beaten down a little, defeated. This team might not be receiving the message sent. I don't know. Whenever the Niners get shut out in a half, something just went wrong. Okay, and it's not just what did the other team do. It's what are you doing? And I really think that there are a few moments that haunted the Niners throughout the rest of that game. When Brandon Ayuk made his first catch of the afternoon on the second drive of the game, and he went for 50, gorgeous play. I think the 49ers spent way too much time hunting plays like that all afternoon. They got away from the running game, only 14 attempts for Jordan Mason. That's not right. Then your math is off right there. I also think that Brock Purdy, God love him, fell in love with the concept of buying time with his feet, running around looking to make a play, and what he forgot to do was stay on schedule. What he forgot to do was sometimes throwing the ball away is the single best play that I can make on this down. We'll live to fight another down. You cannot play for the big play when you need to be playing situational football, and I thought that Purdy lost the situation one or two times, especially in the half, when he took that loss that made it 4th and 23 and took you out of Wisnowski's field goal range. We can talk about special teams being an issue. Has that happened before? Is there anyone who has brought up special teams, I don't know, every single time, every week? Yeah, I know at least one guy has, because I am him. I don't know what to tell you. Special teams once again failed this team. They also made their best play of the entire year, a blocked field goal and punt return by Lenore. Mwah, great. What did it do for you? Because what your special teams also did for you was get your kicker hurt, because nobody was able to make a tackle because your coverage sucks. Week in, week out. Why is your kicker not putting the ball through the uprights on every single kickoff? Why are you bothering with this hybrid bullshit and even a chance to return? Moody had the leg power to kick that thing to great America, and he doesn't. Why? I don't get it. There's a lot on special teams I don't get. I don't think you get much of it either. Frustrating, man. A frustrating day of football when you lose to an inferior team at home. There's a problem. The Arizona Cardinals are not better than the San Francisco 49ers, but they were in the second half, and that's all they needed to be. The margin of error in games for this team has shrunk. They ain't who they used to be. They used to have a defense that scared teams. They do not have a defense that scares teams anymore. They have a defense that's, a run-of-the-mill NFL defense. It's not scaring anybody. So right there, you're in a lot of trouble, aren't you? A little bit anyways. Like and subscribe, my friends. Like and subscribe. Make sure you are ready to go Thursday night at the 2-minute warning. It'll be here before you know it. We're going to get that studio up and published today on the YouTube channel. You can hit the notify button to make sure you are aware of when we go live. We just had a huge audience in here for the post-game show against the Arizona Cardinals, and it gets even bigger when the Niners are in a primetime game all to themselves. So we should have a rip-roarer on a Thursday night. And if the Niners lose that, again, they are trending in the very wrong direction with the Kansas City Chiefs coming into town, and that just sounds like a great way to fuck up your entire year, doesn't it? Doesn't it? What is going on with Nick Bosa, who made a hell of a play with that interception? Oh, God, that was an incredible play. One pressure, missed tackles all over the field. Talanoa Hufanga's trying to get back out there, but he's playing the kind of football that gets the body parts that weren't injured now injured. He hurt his wrist. He hurt his ankle. He's coming back from a torn ACL, and, you overcompensate. And he's not playing particularly well. Mooney Ward's not playing particularly well. Fred Warner is the only guy on this team, this defensive team, that has shown up, lunch pail, ready to go, thermos out, ready to play. Just Fred. It's pretty much only Fred. And you cannot win when you're playing alone back there. This defensive line had 10 guys dressed and up, and they did nothing. Leonard Floyd, decent game. Everyone else, not much. One pressure out of Nick Bosa is the only way to render your one interception pretty much irrelevant. Kyle Shanahan is a coach. Got overly aggressive in moments where he should have just run the ball or just gone broke taking a profit, or you can't go broke taking a profit. Where is the underneath stuff if it's being taken away? Why is Brock Purdy holding the ball for so long? Oh, because his receivers aren't getting open. Nobody's coming open downfield. Your yak yardage, which used to be the best in the NFL, is now the worst in the NFL. And if that isn't an indicator that something is going wrong, I don't know what is. Debo Samuel did nothing yesterday other than push the play button on the boombox. He doesn't even carry the boombox. He just dances next to it. Debo had 1 catch, 11 yards, and 3 rushes that, had they gone to anybody else, Isaac Guerrero included, probably produce more. Debo Samuel used to be the derringer you pulled out quickly and fired, and your opponent never even saw it coming. Now Debo Samuel is the weaponry equivalent of a slow-loading musket, and everybody sees it coming. Debo Samuel is fooling nobody. Kyle is fooling nobody with his Debo Samuel eye candy. If Debo is in motion or being handed the ball, it's pretty easy to stop now, isn't it? Week in, week out. Bad game. Kittle had a good game. Brandon Ayuk, for the first time this year, looked like Brandon Ayuk. That is the only good omen coming out of this game. A little Brock and Brandon got their groove back, but it wasn't groovy enough to score a single point in the second half, and you lose by 1 point at home to Arizona. Like, that just can't happen. Full stop. That cannot happen, but it did. So what do you do now? You nut up and you go play some football up in Seattle like your season depended on it, because it might. 2-3. Is the sky falling? No. You played 5 games. Most teams are 3-2 or 2-3 right now. Teams that are going to the playoffs are 3-2 or 2-3 right now. It's not that hard to imagine this team still winning 10 games if it looks like 49er football. But we aren't seeing 49er football out there. Not enough of it. Kyle Shanahan, puckering up at the wrong time. 4th and short, 4th and goal. Go for it. Go for it. What are you kicking a 20-yard field goal for? In 2024, kicking a 20-yard field goal is straight up, that's bitch. That's a bitch move. No one's doing that. No one. High school teams don't even do that anymore. Go for it on 4th and 1 with a running back who's averaging better 6 yards a carry. It's ridiculous. What are you doing there, Kyle? What are you doing? Let's look at how the week broke for the 49ers. Remember, they're no longer the in charge of their own destiny. That's not who they are anymore. They're going to need a little help now. So while the 49ers were peeing down their own leg in 100-degree weather in Santa Clara, the Packers sent the Rams to 1-4 on the season. Thank you, Green Bay Packers. The New York Giants did the 49ers a solid maybe by giving Kyle a little bit of a blueprint to follow. The Giants beat Seattle by 9 in Seattle. The Giants aren't very good. Seattle has now got, a 2-game losing streak here, right? They lost to Detroit on Monday night. They come home. They lose to the New York Giants. They are going to be scratching and clawing for a win on Thursday night. They don't want a 3-game losing streak. You got the Cowboys. Again, they knuckled up and beat Pittsburgh on Sunday Night Football. You got the Chiefs, who are 2 weeks away. The Chiefs played the Saints on Monday Night Football this evening. We'll see what happens with that. But, the 49ers are no longer a rocket ship. They're just a planet sort of orbiting right now. And they could get thrown out of their own orbit of playoff contention with a couple of mistakes here. They really could. 2-3, not a problem. 2-6, that's a problem. That's a problem. And they are trending in the direction of a problem. This team used to be dripping with football problem solvers. It's not anymore. It's not. Man, we got an awful lot of people in the chat because it is this chat full of reasonable, special people. It is not insulting. It is not panic flowing, but you all know this ain't right. This ain't right. Mario, straight up, Thursday for first place. This is a huge game. I mean, first place because the division is not great. And that's the best thing that has happened to the 49ers this year is that they still have a few cards to show us that they haven't played yet, right? Ricky Pearsall, Christian McCaffrey, Dre Greenlaw. They have a few cards to still show us, but it is a huge game. It is a huge game. They don't look like themselves anymore, though. They really don't. True Blue forever. Cal won, right? I mean, they were up 25 when I turned it off. Yeah, I don't know if anybody turned off the 49ers when they were up 23-10 at the half. Have you heard that the 49ers are susceptible to blowing 10-point leads? Happened again. 4th and 5, 2:49 left in the game. They gave the Cardinals a first down that they just can't give them. Jordan Mason putting the ball on the carpet. Just, that can't happen, man. That cannot happen. It looked like the Niners were absolutely driving for we still have control of this game score. And they blew it. Is that on Shanahan, that moment? No. But there are a lot of moments where I just thought Kyle was looking for big shots and big plays, and Purdy was looking for big shots and big plays, and they forgot to hand the ball to Jordan Mason. And they forgot to operate underneath. They forgot to just pick up a first down, not try to get a 40-yard play out of every other play. Tom Brady even said, I can't remember the last time I've seen this Niner team be this aggressive, forcing the ball downfield. It's not who they are. It's not who they're built to be. They're built to be a team that catches a ball and then runs away from you. And right now, in maybe the single biggest, your DNA is off, something is off, you're dead last in the NFL in yards after catch. If that isn't an indication that something is off or funny or goofy, I don't know what more could be. Hope Top Dog did well in sales. Yeah, Pat McAfee gave Top Dog a nice little shout out, right? Yeah, hopefully Blondie's Pizza sold some pizza too. I don't know why it came, but Baba Booey. I'm always here for a Baba Booey. Thank you very much. Roddy, the only guy watching on Twitch ever. Roddy, the 49ers aren't Super Bowl material, and if they don't win Thursday night, they're not playoff material either. They're a good team that has had an awful lot of trouble acting like a good team. Are they great? No, but they're good. They're not terrible. Not playoff material. I'm going to push back on that. While the math still says to push back on that, I still see a path to 10 wins. I still see a playoff appearance being in this team's future. If you look in Las Vegas right now, the 49ers and their 2-3 status has them still among the favorites to win the NFC. They have not dropped so far back of contention or reputation that everybody is just throwing them out of club, could maybe do it. But they're on their way to looking for the exit. They are on their way to looking for the exit out of the club of contention, and they will move at least 2 or 3 steps closer with the loss Thursday night up in Seattle. There's a lot of anger. There's a lot of people who are prisoners of the moment, and I don't blame you. That was a bad moment. It really was. But the moments are not over. There's still an awful lot of football to be played this year. An awful lot of football. 12 football games is a frickin' eternity. But the 49ers, again, have painted themselves into a corner that they now need to paint themselves out of. And they need to start right now. They need to start right now. Skills was listening to a part of Wake Up with Damon and Larry. Then I took in an old Damon and Ratto. Now this, if I'm not careful, I'm going to start calling my kid Jack. Yeah, Skills, you're going back in time for shows. Thank you very much. Remember, at no point in time is going through the research of Damon and Ratto going to help us out over here on YouTube. But what would help is if you go and watch every single show that I've done on YouTube. That would be helpful. If you would like and subscribe, everyone, you won't miss any future shows on YouTube. That helps the algorithm. Very much so. Joe Schmo says you get a free birthday sandwich at Ike's too. You do. You do. Sign up for that Love Rewards program, man. His new app and rewards program is awesome. I don't know if you're going to find a restaurant anywhere taking care of loyal customers as well as Ike's does. It's why I'm so proud to be affiliated with him. He does business the right way. He always does business the right way. I've never seen Ike in my entire life in any way, shape, or form try to get over on anybody. Never. He's good people running a great sandwich shop. So get yourself to Ike's. Check out that new rewards program. And again, register for a chance to win trip for 2 to New Orleans for a game that a lot of people would describe as super. Check that out. My man Ike has it for you and a delicious sandwich just waiting for you, baby. Waiting for you. The sandwich has got my name on it. Trust me, it is good. Get to Damon Bruce. Damon, tell him Large Marge sent you. That did freak out Jack when he saw that. That was, I thought, oh, that's right. Pee-wee, it's going to be great for the kids. That gave him a nightmare. Mario saying, I think the Chiefs lose tonight. Okay. I'm not sure. I'm not sure about that. Never Daunted. Radio Network. Brandon Staley's keeping Robert Saleh's seat warm for him. Maybe. I mean, Robert Saleh doesn't seem like he's going to be in charge of the Jets for much longer. I'll tell you that. Things are not going according to plan in New York, but, they never do. Never forget, the Jets are the Jets. And it's hard to be better than the New York Jets when you are the New York Jets. Math is hard. Bang, bang. Damon Bruce gang. What did I screw up math? Is my math bad on something? I wouldn't be surprised. Poverty Spec. R.I.P. Niners. They're not dead. But the car is, starting to, how about this? They're not even circling the graveyard. But somebody in the car is, asking, what is the closest graveyard to us? They're getting that data back from Apple right now. Not quite time to say, oh, it's over, but that time is coming if they don't start playing a different level of football right now. Bill Belichick, Pete Carroll, go and get one of those guys. No, it's not going to happen. I'm going to tell you right now, just for your own mentals, Marshawn Lynch should want you to count your chicken and watch your mentals. Know this, Kyle Shanahan's not getting fired. Not this year. He's not. Do you understand? Could I be any more clear about the completely imaginary mid-season firing that some people are saying Kyle Shanahan is going to get? Or at the end of the year, I will also guarantee you, this offseason, Kyle Shanahan is not going to be fired. But if this year were to go so off kilter, next year would be his official first year on a show it to us again, Kyle, or you're on a hot seat. It's not even lukewarm right now. But it could go from not even lukewarm with a bad year to a hot seat in one off season. I'll give you that much. That could happen. And Poverty Spec says, Super Bowl hangover. I'm old enough to remember that the phrase Super Bowl hangover only being applied to the team that won the Super Bowl. Teams that lose Super Bowls should still be hungry. But again, the Niners have been banging their head on the top of the ladder for so long. Maybe they just got a little bit of a competitive headache. Can you have an NFC title game hangover? That's what they have. SF Indigo. Again, let's not talk about who should be fired. Let's not talk about who needs to go. Let's talk about this. Can we talk about how slow this team is? They do look slow, especially defensively. And of all the slow defensive players, there is one who is Mr. Molasses far and above the others, and his name is DeAndre Campbell. And DeAndre Campbell is the one guy that between now and Thursday I would cut. I wouldn't even sit him down. I would cut him. Larry's in the locker room enough to know whose attitude might turn sour if he were to be benched, and he's got DeAndre Campbell on the top of that list. So when it's time to stop playing him, which is now, it's probably time to cut him. Make mistakes with D. Winter. Go ahead. Make your mistakes with D. Winter instead of DeAndre Campbell being here to represent the guy who doesn't make mistakes, who just keeps on making mistakes. What good is a veteran who makes rookie mistakes because he's too slow to play against other NFL players? Even Indiana Jim watched that one. Word. Oh, speaking of Indiana, guess who's the first team in the United States to become bowl eligible? I don't even know what to do. I don't even know what to tell you. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible. Don't let game day come to Bloomington. I'll say this. Game day at Cal was fantastic. That is the best advertising Cal has had as a university or Berkeley has had as a city. And you want to know why? For just once. Berkeley didn't look like it was full of a bunch of like anti-American, commie, pinko, just granola crunching hippie dipshits. It's nice to have a little bit of that reputation, but when it comes to start defining you, you look like an outpost of morons. Berkeley looked like it was in the United States. It didn't look like the People's Republic of Berkeley. It looked like the city of Berkeley in the United States, full of a bunch of like USA, which is good. That was a great day for Berkeley. Unfortunately, as Bruce Jenkins so famously said, if you're a Cal fan, you only know one thing. This is not going to end well. Oh, to be a Cal fan and a 49er fan this weekend. 1-point home losses in games that you went from controlling in the first half to losing control of in the second half. 49ers got shut out in a half. When's the last time the 49ers were shut out in a half? I really should have answered that question. So when's the last time the 49ers got shut out in a half with Kyle Shanahan? I mean, did that happen with CJ Beathard? Was that a Nick Mullins problem? I can't even remember the last time the Niners got shut out in a half of football. Maybe I blocked it out of my memory. I don't know. But it felt wrong. It looks wrong. And it just doesn't make an awful lot of sense. What else we got going on here? The chat, a little frisky, a little angry, and I get it. Got Michael Diaz saying, Damon, it felt like Kyle got Christian McCaffrey on the team, but he doesn't know how to function as well without him. Before Christian McCaffrey was on the team, they were still playing good enough to make it to the Super Bowl. Look, Christian McCaffrey is somebody you just should put out of your mind. If he shows up, that's the frosting. But don't even think about him in the birthday cake at this point in time. Christian McCaffrey shows up to put on a white cape and save the day, great. Fantastic. Right now, I don't even want to hear about him. What I want to talk about is your other running back, Jordan Mason, is averaging 6 yards a carry and only got 14 carries. There's got to be a better middle ground between, hey, 28 carries is an awful lot, too many carries, and 14 carries isn't enough carries. Why is it always such an extreme? You got one of the worst run defenses in football staring at you. You're running for 6 yards a pop against them. Why didn't you run the ball more? Mario. NFC West won't have a wild card. You're going to have to win the division to get in, but the West is weak this season. It is right now, Mario. It is right now. Winning this division is going to become a very hard thing to do. Steve Smith said, Damon, you put a curse on this 49er special teams. Was that me? Is that me for just pointing out every single game this year they fuck up? I didn't know I did that. Again, I have I think I got a solution to the problem. Fire the guy who can't get the job done. You see the way Jake Moody's ankle bent? That is unnatural. We're not looking for that. That is not the type of angle you want to see an ankle bend to. So how long is he going to be gone? Special teams, even though people, had a lot of criticism for Jake Moody in a rookie year where he had a fine rookie year and he's having a fine year this year, they think he's a big part of the problem. Wait until you see how much you miss that guy. Larry said, just go sign another kicker off the streets. Tom Brady even said in this game, You just don't get another kicker off the kicker tree in the backyard when you lose one. That's not how it works. Although, the Arizona Cardinals came in here with the backup kicker who got a kick blocked and still won. Listening to Tom Brady talk about Brock Purdy was pretty interesting there for a little bit. And I think that the criticism that Brady offered on Purdy early in the game came back to prove true. He's not getting rid of the ball fast enough. He is looking to make something happen more than he's looking to stay on schedule, more than he's looking to play into not the original game plan it was laid out pregame, but the developing game plan, which now at all times you have to be aware of the fact that your kicker is dunzo. Mitch Wisnowski gets shaky from anything beyond the 25-yard line, so you cannot be running backwards and taking sacks. You cannot be retreating 18 yards behind the line of scrimmage and then turning around looking to make a play. And Kyle Shanahan cannot be looking at a 4th and 2 on the goal line, 4th and goal from the 2, and settling for a 20-yard field goal ever again. It's 2024. That's not how the game's played anymore, Kyle. It's not. You have a back getting 6 yards. You have your offensive genius credit card. Let's use it. Scan that son of a bitch. Let me see it. Hashtag fire Kyle. Hashtag violent XRP. It ain't happening. Just stop. You're wasting finger energy typing hashtag fire Kyle because it's hashtag not going to happen. That's, we're looking, what could possibly happen to make this team better? Firing Kyle Shanahan in no way possible makes this team better. But yesterday, man, the worst of Kyle was on full display. Call it arrogance, call it cute, call it getting conservative when you need to get aggressive, whatever you want to call it. Call it, this is how Kyle loses games. He blows 10-point leads and he forgets to stop running the ball. Go ahead. He's not getting fired. Not. I think the 49ers have regressed as a football team. I think the league is getting better a little bit around them, but it's really not in their own division. But, you can only stay hungry for so long. Are the 49ers as hungry as they used to be? I don't know. If you're hungrier, do you do better than going 1-6 in the red zone? That can't happen, man. It can't happen. You can't go 1 for 6 in the red zone. I think this is so true. So true. It feels worse when you expect better. It does, Jim. And I expected more out of the 49ers, and you all did too. Enrique dropping a sup. Again, violent XRP. 10 wins. He goes 8-9 is lucky. I think the 49ers are still going to maybe win 10 games. Dude, 9 wins might win you the freaking division. Just not good. It's not good. Where they are right now is not good. But where they are right now, I don't think it's who they're going to be at the end of the year. I really don't. I think that they are better than they have shown us. But they need to start looking within for some solutions here. Because just running that out again, that ain't good. I don't think you can do that. How about this? Just get rid of DeAndre Campbell for anybody else that you have signed to play defense on your team. See what happens there. Anybody else. DeAndre Campbell's too slow to play professional football for anyone, much less a team that's trying to turn its year around. J49 has come up with a really good strategy. Check this out. No one's even thought of this. J49 says, Best strategy, score in the second half. Yeah, Vince Lombardi over here. Yeah, you're right. Score in the second half, man. Score in the second half. What in God's name was that? Man, oh man. There is anger out there. Question is, how angry are the Niners now? And is their anger going to refocus them? You know, have the 49ers collectively in that locker room reached the shrug emoji? Is that what they're like this now? I hope not. If they are, it's over. This team needs to return to playing with violence. Their defense doesn't scare anybody. Unless you're a Niner fan, in which case you're a little scared that your defense doesn't scare anybody anymore. Outside of Fred Warner, who is having a good year defensively? Maybe Diamador Lenore? That's the list. You know, you got 11 guys playing defense at all times. It's going to take more than 2 guys having a good year. Dan Mab. Is Kyle cooked? He looks exhausted. And he has all year. Kyle looks like he needs to have something taken off of his plate. He looks exhausted. He looks beaten down. We were saying that in the preseason. Again, Mike Silver said, removing yourself from the vacuum of anger of losing a football game, there's just something off about this 49ers team. There's something off. And there really is. Let me tell you who is screwing up Mike Silver's book sales. The 49ers. We're going to have to get Mike on here soon. Greg Johnson said, I heard that Dolores Park was a cemetery once. Hey, there were a lot of cemeteries in San Francisco that aren't cemeteries anymore. Maybe a portion of it was. I don't know. But in the name of we don't have much room around here, everybody got pumped down to Colma. My favorite fact about Colma is it's the only city in the country that's got more dead people within its city limits than it does living people. Damon Cal did show out. That was pretty dope. Look, when you got smart kids making signs, those signs are going to be good. Maybe the best sign of the day is we do lines of code. That was a really good one. Poverty Spec says Game Day would need directions on how to get to Bloomington. It's one of the few places that have never had a game day, but I'll tell you this, all they need to do is ask Lee Corso how to get there. Lee Corso used to coach in Bloomington. He can drive. Or maybe he's a little bit too old to drive now. But Lee Corso knows where Bloomington is. Pat McAfee knows where Bloomington is. They'll figure it out. And by the way, as great as Cal's, and I'm not taking anything away from it, as great as Cal's game day was, if that shit does get to Bloomington, you're gonna see some shit. Man, what else we got going on here? What else we got going on? I know that people were asking for Club Pluses, but that happens after the YouTube show ends. I want this stuff included in today's YouTube show. Plus, honestly, my throat, my voice, my head cold. I'm at 78%. I'm at 83%, somewhere in there, 73 to 83%. I still got the spilkus, man. I really do. Ugh. G. Sand says the defense is predictable and teams know it. It's almost as the same as last season. The new DC was part of the staff, same issues. So there's really nothing new about it. I agree. I agree. The wide 9 that this team is married to doesn't feel nearly as effective as it used to be. And it's time to shake things up a little bit. You know, there's no reason to say that this defense is playing so well you shouldn't change anything, which means you got to do something different. It feels like the aggressive blitzing that they did just a week prior sort of went away in this game. And maybe that's because Kyler Murray, with the first time he ran the ball, took off for 50 on you and took it to the house. By the way, ran right past Dre Greenlaw. Teams have identified, not Dre Greenlaw, pardon me, but DeAndre Campbell. Teams have identified DeAndre Campbell as the fat kid that you pick on at recess. So, get the fat kid that everybody's picking on out of there. I agree with you here, man. Tom Brady calling San Francisco San Fran was cringe-inducing. Yeah, it really was. Oh, man. Just a bad day of football. Bad day of football. Can we bring Adams in and trade Debo? No. No. I don't think that that's going to happen. Again, if the Raiders were to trade Devondre Adams for Debo Samuel, that would be more Raidery than Mark Davis's bowl cut. You just can't do that. They won't do that. I don't think Debo's tradable. Who has given you anything other than a 7th rounder for $28 million a year for a slow wide receiver whose really special element is that he can also be a running back who doesn't run well anymore? And Debo Samuel was invisible yesterday. And even having said that, man, he is still part of this team's spirit animal. Like, I don't think you have a year that is possible to turn around without Debo turning it around and start really looking like a guy who is dangerous again. Debo is part of the violence that the 49ers are missing. Kyle does look beat down this year. He really does. Otis sees it. He looks gassed. D Flow says, do you think that Patrick Mahomes will have a tough time against the Niners? I'm not here to predict anything that the Kansas City Chiefs will do against the Niners other than the Chiefs are going to win that game. 49ers prove me wrong. The 49ers can beat Seattle 50-0 on Thursday night. I am picking the Chiefs to win the Chiefs game at Levi Stadium. I'm all done trying to talk myself into this is the time it'll be different. I'm all done. The Niners are going to have to beat the Chiefs for me to believe that can happen. So do I think Patrick Mahomes will have a tough time against the Niners? Not the team that came out and played yesterday. No. I think Patrick Mahomes lights that shit up. Chef A. Damon, you are like the 49ers. You're not fully well. Yeah, maybe. Maybe there's a symbiotic relationship to my head cold and the way the 49ers are playing right now. But I got to tell you, I was feeling pretty good in week 2, and that didn't help the Niners. I was feeling pretty good in week 3, and that didn't help the Niners. So I wish I could totally sign off on that, but Chef A, love you as always. Thank you for being in here, baby darling. Ooh. Alexander Boy Entertainment. He's now Decoy Samuel. But decoys are guys you got to worry about. Who's really worried about Debo Samuel right now? Michelle, Debo's that X factor even in his absence. Is he? I Debo Samuel running with the football means this play's not going very far, and Debo Samuel doesn't get open enough to catch footballs that make a play go very far. And should he catch a football, he's not running as far as he used to after he caught it. These are all major holes in his game. Major holes. Again, hopefully Ricky Pearsall's the answer, because at this point, that's what we got. Again, I hope you're right. I've yet to see the rookie wide receiver who even gets targets under Kyle Shanahan. Seriously. If Ricky Pearsall does anything, that'd be great. That'd be great. If this team really is thinking like, oh, we'll be okay, we'll be all right once Christian McCaffrey gets back into the room, they got to stop that. They got to start pretending that he's not going to. Here's the thing. Think of Christian McCaffrey as the ex-girlfriend you're never going to see again. Now, if you both happen to meet each other in a hotel a few years down the road and decide, let's just go roll around in the hay for one more time's sake, maybe get one more roll around in the hay with Christian McCaffrey, but don't expect it to be this steady, loving, nurturing relationship any longer. I don't know if that can be counted on. So get Christian McCaffrey out your mouth. Don't even think of him. The team that you have right now is the team that you got. Ricky Pearsall. Again, Ricky Pearsall has caught more bullets than Brandon Ayuk has touchdowns. It was good to see, though, Brandon Ayuk and Brock Purdy get on a similar page for the first time in a long time. That was good, though. Sean Hensley. Hey, man. CMC may never be the same. Correct. He might not be. Look at it this way. Who is the same guy on this team from just a year ago? Nick Bosa doesn't look the same. Mooney Ward doesn't look the same. Talanoa Hufanga, due to injury, he doesn't look the same. The only guy, there's one guy, Fred Warner. Fred Warner is awesome at all times. Cut, print. That's the movie. Fred Warner keeps it on awesome. Everyone else, I don't know. By the way, always super to see Carl. Carl, who is the digital master of all things happening here on the Plus. Carl has helped so much. I cannot thank him enough for all the help he has given this channel. Carl, let me tell you right now, everything that we know about the A's and what has happened to your baseball team, it's in focus now. I don't think that there is any coincidence that they happened to choose Kyler Murray with their first pick that year, and then Kyler Murray goes to the NFL. I think that was on purpose. I think the A's drafted Kyler Murray knowing that that's a paycheck they're never going to have to cut. I do. It's all, to hindsight being 2020, I really think that the reason why Kyler Murray was drafted by the A's is because they knew for a fact he was going to go play football. I really do. Boost check getting the love. Carl. Devious. Yeah, right. I mean, I'm sound. Now that we know that everything about the A's was a planned, very carefully planned disintegration of the ability to compete, I think scuttling an overall pick, a first-round pick, on Kyler Murray was part of the sabotage of the Oakland A's. I really do. I mean, what more can you say, kids? Football season will be giving away to, the NBA season. It's a little bit too early to start talking about Warriors basketball, right? Just a little bit too early. But the 49ers are going to put us in that conversation with a loss to Seattle, a loss to Green Bay, and I'm going to tell you right now, if they're coming into that Cowboy game on a 3-game losing streak, I will pick the Cowboys to beat them as well. I will. Not impressed, 49ers. What can I tell you, man? I'm not impressed with what I'm seeing. I still think you got a chance to turn it around, but being able to not step on your own dick in at least 2 phases of the game is something you haven't shown me. So my belief in what you might be is starting to go through the hourglass like sand. You are running out of time. You are running out of benefit of the doubt, and you're going to start to be running out of games as you enter the gauntlet of the entire year. And that's where they are. They are going into a gauntlet right now. And they don't seem to be necessarily ready to get there. I think they were undone by Kyle spending too much time hunting big plays instead of the right play. They were undone by Brock Purdy spending too much time buying time than making the right decision to get rid of the football quickly. Coupled with the fact that they forgot to run the ball with a running back who's getting you 6 yards a carry. Coupled with the fact that you had another special teams mistake that led directly to your kicker getting hurt, which is going to now make special teams even harder to depend on when you really haven't been able to depend on it much at all this year. There's not a lot trending in the right direction. It doesn't feel like they're prepared to win as much as they used to be. So, look, maybe the short week in a weird way will be good for them. Maybe the short week will, guys, we just got to come back to the concept of beating the man in front of you and kicking some ass. It's not about the razzle-dazzle perfect play that Kyle has set up from the second quarter and now springs on you in the fourth quarter. Go student body left, student body right. You got a fullback, go power I, kick some ass, man. I don't know what to tell you. It's 4th and goal. What's the point of having a fucking fullback on your team if you're not going to use them on 4th and goal? Man, oh man. We ready for a little history? You ready for a history lesson today? Kind of a weird history lesson today. We got a lot of creepy people celebrating birthdays. Welcome to your Today in History portion of the live stream. Born today in 1959, Simon Cowell. Simon Cowell has done more to eradicate the concept of good network television than anybody. Everything on network television after 8 p.m. is now a fucking karaoke contest. Sometimes they're wearing masks. Sometimes they're wearing stupid costumes. Sometimes when people are singing, you got your judges doing this. They're like, I'm just going to identify the voice. I mean, is this a really good singing show? Is this what did? And then someone's like, that's who I'm going to do. What the fuck is that? What? You wonder why TV and linear TV is dying. It's because your ideas for good shows just copycat. Anything has a tick of success. Everyone puts out 9 shows just like it, and you flood the market with something that's similar, and it blows. So fuck you, Simon Cowell. Speaking of a couple guys who can absolutely go screw themselves, one no longer with us, thank God. The other one currently is. Born today in 1952, Vladimir Putin. Screw him and all the Republicans who marched to his beating drum. Born today in 1900 was Heinrich Himmler, one of the all-time Nazi greats. Screw him and everyone that marches in the Republican Party to his beating drum. Born today in 1955, finally, a good guy. Yo-Yo Ma, the cellist. Yo-Yo Ma. I remember when Yo-Yo Ma got his time on Mr. Rogers, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. I remember the Yo-Yo Ma show. Yo-Yo Ma, one of the best names in the world to say out loud. Yo-Yo Ma. Sounds like you're, shouting to a pretty girl. Yo-Yo Ma, what's up? Yo-Yo Ma. Has anyone been named Yo-Yo since? Do you know any other yo-yos not named Yo-Yo Ma? Speaking of Nazi propaganda, happy birthday, Fox News Channel. The Fox News Channel launched today in 1996 and has been dumbing down America and being a place that is just a propaganda machine. There is no difference between Fox News and North Korean television. So everyone involved in Fox News has to please go fuck yourselves. You are the worst. You are literally ruining the country as aggressively as anyone. And if you watch Fox News, you are being fed lies and moronic shit. And look, there's a lot of bad media out there, but that's the worst. That really is. Did anything good happen today? Did anything good happen on this day other than Yo-Yo Ma? Well, yes. Today in 1971, Gene Hackman's The French Connection premiered. It would go on to win that year's Best Picture. And this is how interesting movies used to be. We no longer live in a universe of really interesting movies. Like movies are now, like The Fast and the Furious is basically a 9-part series. What are there, 9 Fast and Furious now? It's just a car chase. That's all it is. It's a car chase. The French Connection was a movie about heroin smuggling and police drama and police procedural and great cop and bad cop and all this stuff and drama. And at the time, it had the greatest car chase like ever filmed in it. They used to put a great car chase into a dramatic movie, not say, hey, can we just get 90 minutes out of a great car chase? And then let's do 8 sequels. Watch The French Connection if you haven't. It turned Gene Hackman into a goddamn celebrity. And he was awesome. Gene Hackman in The French Connection is awesome. Today, in 1849, Edgar Allan Poe died. There you go. Quote the Raven, nevermore. By the way, the Ravens won in overtime. The Bengals are 1-4. And yes, I saved that to the end because I knew it would rhyme. Thanks to everyone who tuned in for today's show. I appreciate it. Hit a like on your way out. If nothing else, you like the show is over. Thank you. Thank you to Ikes for supporting everything we're doing. You download that app, you sign up for his Love Rewards program, you get a free sandwich, and you'll be very, very happy that you did. You're also going to get a chance to win a trip to a large football game in New Orleans in February. Get yourself to the West Portal. Those are my boys sitting for you, waiting for you at the Dubliner. Say hi to Kenny and John for me when you walk in there and say hello. And I'll also let you know that we're brought to you by BetUS, baby. BetUS will give you a 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 when you use promo code YouTube150. So check that out if you would, please. BetUS, we thank them very much for being a sponsor. We will have more fun with BetUS as the week goes along. We will open up and talk about some handicapping, but 150% deposit match on your first deposit up to $2,000 with 125% next 2 deposits up to $2,000. Check out BetUS. It's where the fun happens. Thank you very much for being here on a day where I don't know how much fun happened. But man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Things are officially interesting. Officially interesting. Around these parts. A little too interesting for some people's tastes. Thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being good to each other. And please do remember that sports don't build character. They reveal it. And like that, he's gone.